President Cyril Ramaphosa will chair the first government of National Unity Cabinet Lekgotla this weekend, which will comprise of 11 political parties. Dr. Levy Ndou, political analyst, joins us now to unpack or to talk about the expectations thereof. Good afternoon, Dr. Ndou. Thank you very much for joining us. What are your expectations at this very first government of National Unity Cabinet Lekgotla that everybody is talking about?
Mfundo, good evening to you. Good evening to the viewers at home. There are a lot of expectations on what has to happen at the Cabinet Lekgotla. Firstly, this is going to be the first Cabinet Lekgotla wherein many political parties are represented in cabinet. It is going to be a forum where the program of action of government has to be unveiled by cabinet. It is going to be a meeting where all the manifestos of the different political parties will be looked at, and therefore a clear program of government has to. At the same time, different leaders from other political parties who have never been in government would be having an opportunity to be part of solving the challenge that we have in the country. They will be having an opportunity to be the ones who contributes to the solution that South Africans seek. They will not be seated as an opposition this time. They will be seated with huge responsibilities and ensuring that indeed what they've been talking about in the manifestos is supposed to be implemented and made reality.
Now, Doctor, that process of the various manifestos being assessed and perhaps combined together, some are even worried or concerned that there could be some sort of fighting when it comes to just that alone, purely because they believe that some of these political parties are so far apart in policy. But then there's also the argument that if it's just defining the priorities for now, a number of those manifestos had the same issues. It was probably an issue, or there was differences around the how to go about resolving the issues, whether it was electricity, reducing unemployment, growing the economy. Most of those manifestos shared the view that these are the priorities right now. What is your take on just that part around the priorities? Do you foresee some sort of long debate about what are the most pressing issues in the country?
I share the view that the manifestos from the different political parties in South Africa had similarities in many ways. And all of them, they've been talking about job creation. They've been talking about strengthening the economy. They've been talking about the ending of load shedding. They've been talking about housing. They've been talking about prioritizing education and many other issues. My sense is that because these politicians are now given the responsibility to work together and champion the challenges that South Africans face, all they need to do is to have a way in which they are able to agree on the few challenges that we face and prioritize them. And of course, my expectation is not that of having a hostile cabinet meeting. This meeting is coming after the elections have taken place, and everybody who is going to this Lekgotla should be having the mindset that says the time to start working is now, and this is the time to accommodate views from other people, but at the same time having an ability to come to a common ground. So you're saying on the priorities, you don't see or foresee any problems there. But then to the more difficult one, the how. Many people think this will be difficult. This is where we saw fundamental differences in many manifestos. For instance, the DA's rescue plan, to a great extent, is reliant on a serious reform agenda. For example, they want a degree of flexibility on the minimum wage matter. They believe allowing unions to impose certain wage demands leads to further job losses. So for them, if they are at the very least to address the unemployment issue
they might need to force other political parties or convince them that they need to be flexible on just the minimum wage. Would this not be a concern, though?
This is the right opportunity for the different political party leaders who are in government to be able to find one another. This is the opportunity for different political leaders to be able to convince their peers in cabinet in ensuring that whatever views that they have is properly outlined, they debate, and therefore they agree. This is the moment for those that are given responsibilities to be in cabinet, not to behave like an opposition, but to note that they are given responsibilities and they must be able to have ways and means to find one another. And my view is that even though they come from different political parties, they should actually make sure that they cool their heads, but also ensuring that whatever agreement that they make is always in the best interest of all of us. Of course, we're also going to get director generals who have been running these departments to be able to outline challenges that they've come across, the programs that are there, and what they also see as a workable way of doing many things in government. And I expect those that are in cabinet also to be able to accommodate views from the director generals, learn from them, because being a minister does not necessarily mean that you have got solutions to every problem.
All right. Dr. Ndou, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou speaking to us.